socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Corruption not in my country.
Driver, why you just jack us up and down like this now?
I hope nobody carry belle.
Why you ask, oh?
Because this road where they see, so it no guarantee safe delivery.
We just dey vote for government. But
good morning and welcome to another amazing day on Atlantic Television Network. It's Atlantic Blowout again, and this is a program where we get to talk about trending stories in Nigeria today with our analysts in the studio. It's a syndicated live program of the network that features chit-chatting and conversations and special interest topics, news events, and stories through correspondence reports, expert opinion, and stakeholders analysis. Good morning again. Some of the stories we'll be looking at today. We'll take a look at what the Senate is saying about domestic workers and then including them in the minimum wage. We'll also get to talk about the representatives investigating importation of adulterated petroleum products. We'll talk about retirement, where labor is seeking lump sum payment for retirees, for pensioners, and then we'll talk about road accident and what NSC or NCS is saying about Tokumbo tires, second-hand tires. Some Nigerian drivers have complained about the prices of motor parts, and this has made a lot of them resolve to using cheaper products. And when you talk about cheaper products, then you'll be looking at things like second-hand products and sometimes fake products, and this could also lead to road accidents. And we have a lot of road accidents being recorded daily in Nigeria, especially during the festive period. And now the NCS is speaking to Nigerian drivers and saying, stop patronizing Tokumbo tire sellers, buy the real deal so you don't put people's lives at risk. And then on governance, we'll get to look at Tinubu adopting policies that he protested against. The SDPs Adebayo made this statement, and then we'll look at this story about what Peter Obi is saying about the hardship that's going on in Nigeria, and is calling for unity in intervention. A lot of people have expected some of the influential politicians to say something about what's going on in Nigeria. I saw a post yesterday where someone was saying that Goodluck Jonathan has not really said anything, even though we have heard in the news when he made a statement about that. People should get their facts right. But let's go on a short break now. When we return, we'll let you know who our guest is, or who our guest will be, and then we'll delve straight into the details of the stories we have for you today. It's ATM Blowout, and it's going to be an interesting one. Please don't go anywhere.
we just dey vote for government, but we not get good governance.
At all.
Roads so no dey, light usa, the infrastructure e come turn to be forbidden fruit for the city.
Corruption, spoil everything. Hello?
Hello, madam. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Mrs. Ayeni. I am calling from the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs.
Okay. Okay, I've been expecting your call.
Madam, remove this your phone from loudspeaker.
No, now my phone be like that. Hello?
Are you there?
Here.
of your invoice for computers, printers, and laptops.
Yes. Are you working on them now?
Ma, the prices you quoted are way too high now.
Madam, sorry, please don't cost.
We found the laptop you said is 1.8 million naira for 600,000 naira.
Hello?
Now my body network there.
I can't hear you. Network is bad.
Madam, we can hear you. Continue.
Hello, I can't hear you. We call you back.
Their behavior not good now.
Madam, now this kind behavior they kill our country. You suppose do things differently. Make Nigeria for better.
Corruption not in my country.
This message is brought to you by the Akinfade Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
Corruption not in my country.
I don't get a lot. Boy, they won't booga me small. They say, man, give them bribe. I say, nothing. Okay, now, we'll go block later. You remember that contract where we do that time now? They don't pay.
But first, you see the house rent with the old things. We go first call caretaker, take the money, slap him.
Beg, see, you know, say I get annual levy why they pay for club. Where me and boys they shark beer in our house, I could pay that one. You remember say me and tell you I go buy you motor. I go buy now.
Okay, they pay you money now. We don't they beg caretaker? Why would they beg landlord, old man, and they agree give us time? Money can't come now. You won't divert time. You said na corruption. Corruption, not in my house and not in my country.
Sure.
Corruption not in my country.
This message is brought to you by the Akinfade Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
Corruption not in my country.
Kasali, I hope so my car don't ready. I get interview in 30 minutes.
Okay, you don't ready. I just the last minute instruction where you give me yesterday. Now,
The Kasali, my electrician, make it come house, call me do my meter so that you don't go to read again. You know electrician?
your electrician.
Yes, now.
So you call Kasali electrician, make it come help you adjust your meter, make it for no read again, Abi. So you said you want join people where be say they no want they pay NEPA bill again, Abi. Oga, you know good now. You don't use you don't they behave like tea, all these stiff people.
What you change for your motor? What you change for?
Two lights. Repair gauge. Speedometer.
For what now? You for come over home my motor. I bet you identify for me.
Okay. Now don't do something we corrupt. And the something come backfire. Now go come they find how to dodge them.
What you talk?
They greet you.
Corruption not in my
This
country.
message is brought to you by the Akinfade Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
And with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
Corruption not in my country.
What you want to buy?
Potato. Small basket. I want plantain. But why your plantain can't hard like this?
Madam, now the outside hard. Inside there, it is very soft.
Madam, wallahi make her no buy. Make her show you something. What? What in this one? Madam, this one now the chemical where they put on for the plantain make her ripe up.
So you dey put chemical for plantain where people go chop.
Now water, no be chemical.
Even now water. You know say Pela I don't talk and say water and not be enemy. Drink am.
Where you collect that water, drink am.
I just stop finish. See my belly. It don't big. I just stop drink water finish.
Wait, you drink am now. I dey sell am plantain, I go come put am for chemical because I want to make a ripe go. That one I talk and now corruption. Not be for this kaswa, come not be for this country. Now me take am.
Corruption not in my country.
This message is brought to you by the Akinfade Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
And with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
To the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
anti-safe delivery. Oh.
We just dey vote for government, but we not get good governance.
At all.
Roads so no dey. Light usa. The infrastructure it can't turn to be forbidden fruit for the city.
Corruption, spoil everything. Hello?
Hello, madam. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Mrs. Ayeni. I am calling from the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs.
Okay. Okay, I've been expecting your call.
Madam, remove this your phone from loudspeaker.
No vex. Now my phone be like that. Hello?
Are you there?
I hear, I'm hearing you.
Yes. We saw a copy of your invoice for computers, printers, and laptops.
Yes. Are you working on them now?
Ma, the prices you quoted are way too high now.
Madam, sorry, please don't call.
We found the laptop you said is 1.8 million naira for 600,000 naira.
Hello?
Now my body network there.
I can't hear you. Network is bad.
Madam, we can hear you. Continue.
Hello, I can't hear you. We call you back.
Their behavior not good now.
Madam, now this kind behavior they kill our country. You suppose do things differently, make Nigeria for better.
Corruption not in my country.
This message is brought to you by the Akin Fadehi Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
Corruption not in my country.
I don't get a lot. Boy, they won't booga me small. They say, man, give them bribe. I say, nothing. Okay, now, we'll go block later. You remember that contract we will do that time now? They don't pay.
But first, you see the house rent with the old things. We go first call caretaker, take the money, slap him.
Beg, see, you know, say I get annual levy why they pay for club. Where me and boys they shark beer in our house, I could pay that one. You remember say me I tell you I go buy you motor. I go buy now.
Corruption not.
Thank you so much for staying with us on Atlantic Television Network. It's Atlantic Blowout once again, and we have our guest already seated in the studio ready to talk to you or find out what his analysis of the stories will be. We have no other than Ekie C. Ekie, Ambassador Ekie C. Ekie. He's a public affairs analyst amongst many other things, but he just likes to be called a public affairs analyst. Good morning to you, Ambassador.
My pleasure again being here.
Thank you for coming.
Good seeing you.
All right, let's look at our first story for today. There was a clamor on Monday for the inclusion of domestic workers in the new national minimum wage of 70,000 naira. And senators and the National Council of Women's Society, they made the call in Abuja at a public hearing on a bill for an act to provide for domestication and registration of domestic workers and employers in Nigeria, organized by the Senate Committee on Labor, Employment and Productivity. Now, the bill was sponsored by Senator Babangida Hussaini, that's the APC Jigawa Northwest. The committee, which is chaired by Senator Dike Plan, APC Plateau Central, took submissions from several stakeholders, making his contribution Senator Osita, that's the APC Imo West, recommended that 70,000 naira be included in the bill as the minimum wage for domestic workers. Now, he stated that as a member of this committee that he feels strongly, part of the provisions that feels strongly that part of the provision should be included in this bill is to include domestic workers, be they housemaids, servants, or whatever. They should be included in the proposed 70,000 naira minimum wage. But let's not forget that there was a time when this minimum wage argument was on, and then we heard some lawmakers saying, I can't pay my driver 200 and what 1,000 naira. right? Even some Nigerians are complaining. In fact, some companies have not even started paying their staff. Now, we're not even talking about the domestic staff now. Their staff, even the 70,000 naira, some companies pay less than that. So talking about including domestic staff in the 70,000 naira minimum wage, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, it's a good thing, first of all, that the minimum wage have stepped up. It has improved from what it used to be, and even though the protest and advocacy for labor did not absolutely get it the way they wanted, and that's the beauty of dialogue. It mustn't end the way you want it. At least the 70,000 naira, not that it can solve all the economic problems of the recipient, both the domestic workers and what have you, but at least it's much more better than what they used to have. I'd like to commend Senator Osita Zuna, so I know him very well. He's a man that has a good heart, for lending voice towards that arrangement. Is a good one. Now, you see, part of what we need to be taking into consideration is for us to understand that workers are workers in Nigeria. Workers are citizens of Nigeria, irrespective of the kind of job you are doing. Workers are not slaves. Workers are helpers. Workers are supporters, because nobody can actually do everything for himself. So if you have workers, treat them as helpers. Don't treat them as slaves. Don't treat them as people who life should not be comfortable with. Give them the very best and comfort you can. You know, again, most of these advanced countries, though we are here to get there, if we're on the lane or on the track, workers are paid the same way. If it is 2 hours you work, you know what the law have stipulated. So there is no argument of whether you should be paid or not. So it's a statutory arrangement. And that's why it looks as if motivation, the morale of those who workers, is very high. Because
outside the country?
Yes, outside Nigeria. Okay. Yes, that's why I said developed countries. You know, so if you work for 2 hours and you know you have social amount of money, it's not about a monthly minimum wage. So if you know every work you do, you're going to earn 20K, the next you can leave, finish that work, go to another work. Now it's have 3, 4, 5 drivers for the sake of convoy, simply because you want to feel like a king, and because we are not really giving our citizens the very best to enable us not to be afraid, you know, for the act of insecurity. If not, why will you be using 10, 15, 20 drivers at a time, each time you move?
Okay, let's look at the minimum wage now, the 70,000 naira benchmark, and then domestic workers, as it has been stated in this story. I remember the tripartite committee that had all of these conversations had private business owners involved in that.
Wicked, you know, CEOs who believe that those who work for them, who work around them, are slaves, so they don't deserve a very quality life. We also have CEOs who are nice, that even with that salary you are going to earn, before the end of the month, you even have much more than the salary. So we have still CEOs who have the heart of a kind heart, as if it were. I would like to say that the fact that 70,000 minimum wage has been passed, CEOs, let us not now kill our staffs with work. Because
but you just said if you cannot afford to have a lot of staff, that means you are saying that some people should reduce their staff. their workforce.
No, I'm talking from experience.
I mean, a lot of people do the job. The few people that they have, if they reduce the hands, the few people they have will definitely do the job.
No, most times as business owners, our primary focus is profits. And then what our staffs get is very minimal, very low from our profits. Because every CEO wants to live a very comfortable life. So that's why I said that most CEOs do not see their staffs as human beings that deserves a good life, because they want to generate money for their much, exotic lives. So, but where you have the heart of hospitality, you understand that those who work for you are really the reason why you are making money. So they deserve to be taken care of. So my plea is that, one, if you know you cannot afford the 70,000, what most CEO does, because of these laws, they don't give most staffs appointment letters. That's the secret why you don't have appointment letters.
Them appointment letters.
Yes, because it's that appointment letter that you can use.
See that in this law.
Who will consider the private business owners? If the consideration will only be to see those who are working for government, like Total and Shell, Ajib, who are still benefiting from government directly. So it's not like a common man who start maybe a gas plant.
You made a statement,
yes,
and that's what led to this question.
Yes.
Right? You said some of these government policies that the entrepreneurs are not considered.
Very, very well now.
Yes, and then I'm asking you, this particular one, even though we say that it was Labour that started the whole clamor, at the end of the day, wasn't it the president who mentioned the minimum wage? Wasn't it the government?
That's what we are saying.
That's what I'm saying now. I'm asking a question. In this particular law, do you see the private business owners being considered, saying that we should pay 70,000 as minimum?
The understanding of private owners, private business owners in the sight of government are like Total, Ajib, Dangote.
So SMEs are not considered?
Those of us who are into small scale businesses, the government don't see you as a business man now. So if they are talking about CEOs that runs multi-billion naira companies, that's where they are looking at. So not somebody whose business is within the range of 800,000, 600,000.
You're the one making that distinction.
No.
We never heard the government make that distinction.
No, I'm speaking from experience. If I have a business that worth 400,000 naira, there are business owners like that. We have business owners who have their business worth 200,000. So I'm going to engage a worker and I will pay you 70,000. Who of that company knows the law, he will not give him the appointment letter. Because if you give him appointment letter, it becomes illegal to sue for his right of 70,000 naira. I know that even the former minimum wage, like I told you for free, that all the minimum wage that government have passed, that's the reason why CEOs no longer, many, give their staffs appointment letter.
Because of the previous minimum wage.
And maybe your own boss is a nice man. He will give you people appointment letter.
Well, I'm just wondering how businesses that are worth that amount, like you have made the benchmark and explanation, 200,000, would then pay workers 70,000.
It's not possible.
Pay workers.
It's not visible.
Naira. Let's look at what the reps are saying now concerning the adulterated petroleum products. The House of Representatives Joint Petroleum Committees on Midstream and Downstream Sector have commenced a thorough investigation into the alleged production, importation of adulterated substandard petroleum products, the non-availability of crude oil needed by domestic refineries, and broader threats to Nigeria's energy security. The Joint Investigative Committees, chaired by Honorable Kengai Mo Ugochinyere, Downstream, the Honorable Henry Okoje, the Midstream, at the inaugural meeting on Monday, called on all stakeholders to provide support and essential information, domestication, documentation to help the investigation. The Deputy Speaker, while performing the inauguration of the committee, charged stakeholders to hold dearly the sacred principles of transparency, fairness, justice, and professionalism in going about their mandate. And he has also charged the committee to consider the interests of the people and also the interests of Nigerians in their investigative activities, and he warned them not to compromise the core values of the 10th House of Representatives. This warning is very important for this investigation. The chairman of the downstream Ikenja Imo Ogochinyere, who has the joint investigation, and Honorable Harry Okoje, the chairman midstream, has urged refinery operators, importers and producers and marketers as well of petroleum products to share their complaints, suggestions and independent facts. They disclosed that the investigation will proceed in phases, starting with the investigation of allegations of local production and importation of substandard petroleum products, as well as the critical issue of crude oil non-availability to refineries and circumstances surrounding it. We heard the other time when Dangote actually made that complaint, and then we heard that Dangote now had to import a lot from another country. And Nigerians are like, what? We have this here. What's going on? This is looking like sabotage, some people said. But let's get your thoughts on this. Now the reps have, started investigations. Investigations have started concerning importation of adulterated petroleum products.
Well, the issue of importing adulterated products, most times you rob Peter to pay Paul. That's what happens in Nigeria. You are against the artisan refiners who are illegal in Nigeria. That's the popular AK called fire. You are against their local refining. And then now you are still going to buy adulterated fuel, which our young brothers and sisters were helping to provide, though on illegal arrangements. So why not, as a government, still look at the issue of collaborating with these young illegal refiners?
I understand that the government does not support importing adulterated fuel.
That's what we are saying now. Where the available is not, the desirable is not available. The available becomes the desirable. The importers of the, what do you call it? What's the right word there?
Petroleum products.
Is it fake, or what is the right word?
Adulterated.
Adulterated, which is still fake, not very original. The issue of importing adulterated petroleum product is because they couldn't afford or see the original. So they are importing adulterated product. So that's the ones they can afford. That's the one they feel they can sell to Nigerians. Nigeria is a dumping ground for every bad product in the world. So we are feeling that it's not a good thing for business owners who are into crude business to import adulterated product. And then number two, the issue of giving local refineries products has been a big challenge here. And I said the last time that the reason why most of these managers of our crude are not giving our local refineries the desired crude is because they will not make more money. When they export our crude in the normal way they have been used to, one, there will be money made in exporting those crudes. The crude will be sold in dollars. Of course, the big difference between our naira and our dollar. So they stand the chances of making more money by exporting our crude, thereby denying our local refineries of the product. And I appealed the last time that even though they will make more money, let them consider the common Nigerians. Let them consider the way our economy is right now, that our local refineries having this crude will help us more than the money they have been making before. in the exportation of the crude because they are going to have more money in doing that. And then I also know that part of the challenges in that oil industry right now is because most Nigerians, most people already have vessels that is going to be used for importation and exportation of these crude products. It was because of that nature of business that made them to invest in that area. So now you want to stop
all of your explanations, but back to the part where you're saying instead of bringing in these adulterated products, why don't we just use, you know, the one that we have here and encourage the illegal refiners and, you know, make it legal and all of those things you have been clamoring for even on other days on this show. But let's understand that the government is not in support of importing adulterated fuel. So it's not like we need adulterated, we are okay with adulterated fuel, so instead of us to import it, why don't we just use the one that we have here?
I know very well.
If we're talking about refining our products here, then we should also be looking at the government making our refineries functional, like they have promised that before December, before the end of this year, we'll have that.
Which are not the best refined product. That the people still use it for cars, they use it for their generators and whatever. It powers, it functions well. So I was only trying to say, like the former Vice President Osibanjo said, was advocating that we can license these guys, but they don't need to get this product by breaking the pipe. So in other words, NNPC is going to arrange how they will get this crude legally and begin to refine it. But my case
we
is,
should let them continue refining
no,
by legalizing it now, but they should be
we have passed that phase.
What do you mean?
That advocacy was when there was no Honorable Gochinyere is one National Assembly member now. He has been an activist before going to the National Assembly. So that spirit of activism most time is being seen as some level of rascality in it. And that's why I am sure the Deputy Speaker who inaugurated that committee is advising that they should ensure that things are being done in line with the rules of the house. You know, when you are an activist, sometimes you just want to get it right. From point of view, most times his actions are seen to be very radical and not to be obeying rules.
So what do you think should be done now to prevent more of these cases where we'd have to sit down and start investigating importation of adulterated petroleum products?
You see, our system, we have so many corrupt elements in our system. Who are the people who loaded these products? Who are the people who certify these products? Who are the people who clear these products? They are all Nigerians, and they are going to ensure that the right thing is being done to Nigerians. Yeah. It went through the waterway.
Investigations are
good, so that's
they can identify these people.
Good, so that's why we are pleading that let us try and reduce corruption, because this corruption has not helped us. All of us are seeing it right now.
So we should, while we try to investigate and then actually carry out the law, what the law says against these people, that's prosecute the offenders now, we should also...
investigation that will solve the problem.
That's why I asked what do you think we can do?
The terrorist committee should carry out their investigation. 2, when the investigation report comes out and it is indicting, there should be a level of discipline. Nigerians will want to see that the people who collaborated in ensuring that these things go on in Nigeria are disciplined. When we see that, it will work. But not again that Nigeria is waiting for this Maoga that has been there chopping money, eating money, has been excused out. It's my own time to continue with that evil. That's why I'm saying I'm appealing to those who are in that institution. Because in Nigeria, people will say, this man is bad, this man is bad. Only waiting for him to go out, and then they too will continue from that evil.
If we have all of these things here, which we already have the raw products, we have crude oil here. If we have our fuel here, if we have all of these things available enough in large quantities to address or to actually meet our needs here and also to export, then importing adulterated products in the first place.
Good.
So when we're talking about recommendations and what we can do now, we should be looking at solving the problem from the preventive, making sure it doesn't happen again. From prevention.
My recommendation will be very hard. You know why? All I will recommend is that every crude oil from River State should not leave River State. And then let the crude oil that is generated in River State be refined in River State. So by so doing, for Rivers people, I'm not talking for Rivers people, but we are talking about recommendation. But I was speaking as a Nigerian, somebody who is speaking on behalf of Nigerians. So, but if you ask me to speak as a Rivers man, I will tell you that all the crude oil in River State and Bayelsa should not leave Bayelsa, should not leave River State, so that it can be refined in our Port Harcourt refinery, and then there will be sure that the products are properly refined and not adulterated.
So until the refinery is even functional, we cannot even think about this. Let's look at the next story now. This story is talking about retirement, okay? And the Nigerian Labour Congress demanding for an increase in the lump sum payment to workers, that's retirement, to 50% under the contributory pension scheme, to enable retirees begin a comfortable retirement life. Now, this is as NLC has raised several questions agitating the minds of retiring workers. President of NLC, Joe Ajero, at the program on retirement in Abuja, made this statement. According to him, he felt like the questions that could be going through the minds of retiring workers could be, how do I cope? Where do I start from? What is the next step? How do I feed? What's my health going to be like? Am I still going to be on insurance? And all of these questions that he asked in his statement, if you read through while investigating on this particular story, you find out these were some of the questions that were asked by Joe Ajero. But let's look at this statement, talking about increasing the lump sum payment to 50% instead of just giving them a part of it. You know, there were actually excuses that if you give them all of it in the first place, it might be misused or they might be scammed and things like that. So let's just give them some and then start paying them bit by bit so they get money every month. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, first of all, I would like to say it's a good one. Somebody who have labored should not die because of the labor. Number two, I would like to also encourage workers. You do not prepare for retirement when you are retired. You prepare for retirement when you are still working. In other words, you need to diversify. You need to see if there are ways to have multiple streams of income. You need to still invest. Not all retirees go through what every retiree goes through. Because there are some retirees, before they retire, they have another side hustle.
But you know that they're not allowed to have other jobs. They're just supposed to stick with this one and with their little salaries.
When we are talking about employment, it's different from owning a business. We can't stay in the public television here and begin to say, and you will still waste it. You can be given 100,000 and that 100,000 naira will multiply to millions. So it depends on your entrepreneurship capacity and the favor of God upon your life.
Look at the 18,000 naira now. The workers have been, the minimum wage had been 18,000 at some point, then 30,000 naira. But don't forget that some state governors were still paying the previous minimum wage, even until this announcement of 70,000 naira. So a man who is earning 18,000 naira in this economy, who has to take care of his wife and his children? So let's look at this scenario now and how we expect him to still have a start up a business and make investments.
You see, I want to also speak from the entrepreneurship point of view. If what your brain can offer you in a month is 18,000 naira, you have a psychiatric problem, and you need to be worked upon. The fact that you are working in a firm,
saying they have a psychiatric problem.
No, you are not getting me. I'm not trying to.
Because you need to understand that there are some people in that particular category now,
no,
and they might not take it lightly.
No, you are not getting. I said it means that you may. I didn't say you have.
No. We have to take that.
Okay, I withdraw it. Now the point I'm trying to say is that you shouldn't be placed in a box because you are working for a government or for a firm. You can be working in a particular firm. I've seen people who work even for Shell, and then the money they generate, they started up a business. Along the line, they never waited for retirement. They walked away to pursue their private business.
That company pays.
I'm just giving an example.
That pay less.
You see, let me tell you, to become an entrepreneur takes a lot of guts. Because while the person who is working, earning salary, is enjoying immediately, you may still be suffering, you may still be laboring. But by the time your business kicked up, no matter how little you start, somebody who is working may never have a comfortable life like you. I'm telling you what I know. So having an entrepreneurship mindset and understanding, I have never in my life, I've always told people, I will never apply for job employment, because I understand that one is going to cage me. Number two, I can't fulfill my vision, my dream. Number three, I will not have my freedom. Number four, I will not have financial freedom. I can't achieve all of these things working for any person. I know our capacities are not this. Your Android phone. So all you need to do is to develop your capacity. Your entrepreneurship capacity is in you. But you just need to have the open mind to say, I need to look out for God, open my eyes to another side.
You know that, okay, I understand what you're saying, and I've also been an advocate for that, for people to look for other things that they can do, especially online. A lot of people are making money online now. But this social media thing and online business thing just started not too long ago. And these retirees, these are people who were working, you know, back then, when there was no social media, and probably the way to just start up a business online without having a physical position. The way it's easy now, it might not have been easy that way in the past.
Can I tell you?
Go on.
Learning is a thing of the mind. I can tell you for free that there are men who are up to 60, 70. They knew how to use the computer more than us that are less younger.
Those are quite a few.
No. It's a mindset. It's determination. So I'm not saying that everybody must go into the online business. But at least if you can't go into online business, you can start up another investment that you can place someone there. Most times those who work, their wives are not empowered. There is no business. They don't trust their wives to allow her to go and do something in the name that stay at home. I'm going to make a salary. I'm going to pay school fees. I'll pay house rent. I'll provide food and all of that. So the man feels that he can take responsibility of everything because his salary can accommodate that. Not knowing that there should be an intentional plan for the future, which is the retirement. Which if the wife is working at that period, maybe doing business, that business could be growing until the time of his retirement. So by the time he retires, he can retire to join that business in a bigger way. Most people does that.
Now we have heard a lot of retirees spending their retirement monies wrongly, especially during the time we had these online businesses that wrapped up, that a lot of people invested their funds in, and, you know, and the likes. Not even just that, there were other ones that people trusted so much that they, you know, these things were new. And people wanted to take advantage, like just make use of them. And a lot of retirees invested their retirement fund in this thing, and that was the end. It just went.
You see, the truth about...
Imagine giving them 50%.
If it's 100% of their money, you can give them, but I will not subscribe to 100%, because when you go into a business you don't know, the chances and the possibility of losses are there. So if you give them 50%, the period of that investment, they may suffer some losses in trying to know that business, because there are so many unexpecteds in business, especially new businesses. So when you give them 100% and they lost all, it will be like frustration. So I want to subscribe to the president of NLC that 50% is good enough, so that if they start and there are some...
Okay, at this point we'll take some time off. Let's go on a short break. When we return, the conversation will continue. We have other stories for you. Please stay with us.
Corruption not in my country.
I don't get a lot. Boy, they won't booga me small. They say, man, give them bribe. I say, nothing. Okay, now, we'll go block later. You remember that contract we will do that time now? They don't pay.
But first, you see the house rent with the old things. We go first call caretaker, take the money, slap him.
Beg, see, you know, say I get annual levy why they pay for club. Where me and boys they shark beer in our house, I supposed to pay that one. You remember say me and tell you I go buy you motor. I go buy now.
Okay, nah. They pay you money now. We don't they beg caretaker? Why would they beg landlord, old man, and they agree give us time? Money can't come now. You won't divert time. You said na corruption. Corruption, not in my house and not in my country.
Sure?
Sure.
Corruption not in my country.
This message is brought to you by the Akinfade Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
From the lines across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains to the Sahara, we bring all sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today. Only on ATN.
Thank you so much for standing by. Let's go to the next story now. Welcome back. Refrain from using Tokumbo tires. NCS is urging Nigerians. I'm talking about the Nigeria Customs Service, Ogun 1 Area Command, urging Nigerians to refrain from using second-hand tires, popularly known as Tokumbo tires, in order to stem in-season cases of road crashes. The command's controller, Mr. J.S., was one of the factors that contributed to road crashes in the state and Nigeria at large. Now, there's a reason the people are using these tires. They have said it's because motor parts are very expensive, so definitely the Tokumbo tires are cheaper, but then there are circumstances or consequences.
It's just like buying is not the very best. You see how paracetamol that costs 2,000 naira, same paracetamol that you buy 200 naira. But the question is affordability. Nigerians are not buying second-hand tires because they love second-hand tires. I would have thought that the custom officer would say, government provide all Nigerians that have cars with new tires. Each time they need it, go to so factory and collect new tire.
For free?
For free. Or on a subsidized rate. You cannot afford something for a particular person, yet you are insisting that he must do it in the unaffordable way. So not that we Nigerians, we don't know that, what do you call it?
Tokumbo tires.
Tokumbo tires are not the best.
Let's not forget that there are, like I said, consequences. Lives are being lost every day because of this same
It is not true. People who are using...
What is not true
People who are using what we call tear rubber tires, right? Also get involved in accidents.
If you listen to what he said that this is one. of the cases, or this is one of the reasons we're having road crashes. And if they're saying this is one of the reasons we're having road crashes, it's simply because investigations have been carried out. And this is the result of the
It is because he wants. It's because he wants to justify the seizure of the.
So you don't even believe what he
I'm
said
coming
about
now.
that being one of the
I
reasons.
said first of all that we do not know. We know that Tokumbo tire is not the best tire, but because we cannot afford what we call tear rubber tires, new tires. That's
when they see some symptoms, they just take roadside drugs. They don't go to the hospital. In fact, if someone tells you he's in the hospital, you say, is it that serious? So we wait for it to be very serious before we go to the hospital. And then at times when the doctor now tells you, oh, we have to fly you out because you need organ replant or something like that, you'd see people, that money that they say they don't have, to have treated it in the first place before it got to the level it was, the money will come out. What am I trying to say? We know that these things, if it's causing crashes, it means lives are being lost. And if whatever is making lives to be lost should be looked into.
We are not.
So there's no excuse of saying, oh, that's not true. What she said.
No.
That's not true.
You are not getting me. He said he said is one of the reasons.
Of course.
Good. And I mentioned to you that it's not as if we do not know that Tokumbo tire is not the best.
We heard
I
that.
said so.
We heard that.
But I'm only saying that it should not be that all Nigerians must use tear rubber tire because we cannot afford it. We need it. We love it. So my appeal is that the custom controller, I want to appeal to you, help us. Don't be seizing Tokumbo tires because that is what the common Nigerians can afford. It may look funny to you. I'm speaking. I know why I'm saying this.
Of course.
Yes.
When I read the story, I also gave you the reasons the drivers are
good.
That's what they can
good.
afford.
Now, we are talking about 70,000 minimum wage. Do you know that that's a price for some new tires? So if I don't have 70,000, I should not drive again. So when I know that the car is a necessity.
Back to your appeal now.
So my appeal to the custom controller is that for now that our economy is bad, we are suffering, we are trying to manage. Don't seize Tokumbo tires for now. Now, number two,
allow people to keep using Tokumbo tires.
We have to use it for now because Nigerians will use it.
Did you hear the part where it's causing road crashes?
Now let me come. I gave you an instance. Not all the road crashes are caused by tires.
Definitely, there are other
He said one, which I agree with him.
So why are you saying
number
you should
two,
keep encouraging the use of Tokumbo tires by not seizing them?
If the countries that are even using good tires, their roads are good. Their roads will help.
That's the major reason we should use good tires, because of the state of our roads.
Can you afford it?
And that's what we should be talking
so
about
we want
how the government can come in, you know, subsidize and all of that. But saying that they should stop seizing the tires
is it the government that is owing 140-something trillion that will subsidize tire for now? Is it
of it earlier?
That's what I'm saying now. That if he's telling us now that the government have the capacity to subsidize new tires, that the exports or the duties for importation of new tires will reduce, so that the price of new tires will be affordable by the common man. That's wonderful. So if you want to preach and tell us that Nigerians should not be using Tokumbo tires, custom controller, I want to appeal to you that reduce the custom duty for importation of new tires, so that we Nigerians can afford the new tires that you really desire us to use.
That's a better recommendation.
Yeah, so reduce, because the causes of this hike of new tires is because of high custom duties, and then the issue of dollar, which is secondary. So my appeal to custom controller, beg Mr. President, I'm also appealing to Mr. President, let the custom duty for importation of new tires be reduced, so that in fact they can even waive it off, because we have other ways of importation duty. But for the sake of revenue generation, let it be subsidized, reduce the import duties, and then let us see that the price of it, if we can buy the new tire with the price of Tokumbo, which it used to be before, now who will not want to go for the best?
Don't you think we should also look at production here?
That's what we are looking at now. We've talked about how the activities of government is not encouraging investors. We have Michelin here before that we are doing well. We also have other companies who are into tire production. The last time I heard about one of our fathers, the OPM leader rather, bringing a company outside the country to come and invest on tire production in Abia State. I think it's a good one and it's commendable. Now, not just bringing investors or even Nigerians wanting to invest in the tire sector, but government should learn to encourage investors. Give them the right atmosphere. Like the issue of taxation, when a business comes up, you can give like 5 years waiver of taxation, or subsidize their taxation so that they can grow. First of all, a business needs to grow before it has to be paying tax.
All right. Let's look at the next story now because of our time. The comptroller advised. Okay, let's look at the next story now. And this story is talking about governance now, where the Social Democratic Party's presidential candidate for the 2023 election, Prince Adewale Adebayo, criticized Bola Tinubu's led federal government for adopting IMF and World Bank policies they had protested against during Goodluck Jonathan's administration. His remarks came amid the planned nationwide protests on August 1, organized by youth and groups via social media campaigns. Adebayo expressed skepticism towards the protests, suggesting preemptively identifying and preventing what he referred to as empty-headed IMF drones from gaining power through elections would be more effective than attempting to remove them through riots. You know, he made the post in his X handle where he said protests are similar to sheer political gimmicks of Buhari, Tinubu and the rest, protesting against Jonathan for the same policies that they are now pursuing, even with less humanity. And when we look at the next story too, also talking about a little bit about the hardship that's going on, where the presidential candidate also from the Labour Party 2023 election, Peter Obi, also made a comment about us having unity to handle the hardship that's going on, still making reference to when they mentioned that, oh, Peter Obi is the reason for the protest and is the one leading the accusation against him. And these stories kind of tally, and that's why I'm joining the two of them now to get your thoughts on this. First of all, on the policies that, according to SDP's Adebayo, that Tinubu is adopting after he protested against them.
You see, there are things that are done based on political reasons, and there are things that are done on moral reasons, and there are things that are done on business reasons, on religious reasons, or on social or ethnic reasons. The reason why the current president protested the IMF policy could be best known to him. So the big question I had expected the SDP presidential candidate, Prince Adewale, is someone that I knew relatively because of the campaign period. He's a sound mind. I also expected that the Accord presidential candidate, Professor Christopher Momole, who was the youngest presidential candidate then, followed by, I think, the SDP. In this cabinet of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that most of these young Nigerians who had visions and aspirations for a better Nigeria would have been brought on board. The SDP presidential candidate is sound. The Accord presidential candidates are sound. I'm talking about them because as young people I was able to relate with them during the presidential campaign. So I expected that Mr. President would have brought them into his cabinet, give them responsibilities so that they can contribute their own experiences and their ideologies in making Nigeria better. Now, pushing blame on the supposed plants protests, it makes no sense. Everybody is aware that there is hardship in the land. When I saw that Mr. P2B, I have not been his fan anyway, is the cause of the protest of the hardship protest. For me, I laughed. I said, how? So blaming anybody right now makes no sense. I'm aware we heard that the National Assembly have cut off their salaries.
Slashed by 50%
yes.
for the next 6 months.
Yes, which is a good one. I want to commend the National Assembly for doing that. Even though most Nigerians do not believe that is okay, but Nigerians have advocated that our leaders need to cut costs. They also need to sacrifice. So even though they have not sacrificed their children and their wives for us, for them to sacrifice 50% of their salaries, at least is better than none.
So you're expecting them to make more than that?
So I think the 50% is not bad.
Okay.
At least they've tried to a reasonable extent. Now, there are like the student loan and other things that the president have started taking actions and responsibility. The East-West Road, they are fixing it. Most of the things that are annoying